Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Amira Hafizah binti Hamizi. Today I will begin the presentation with the introduction of Chapter 1. Leadership play an important role in shaping employee performance and overall organizational effectiveness. Effective leader motivate and support employees, leading to higher job satisfaction, productivity, creativity, and engagement. In contrast, weak or passive leadership can result in low motivation, poor performance, and limited innovation within organizations. This study focused on three leadership styles: transformational, transactional, and laissez-faire, which influence employee performance in different ways. Transformational leadership enhance motivation and innovation. Transactional leadership improve efficiency in routine tasks, while laissez-faire leadership often reduce employee engagement and performance. The study examined how this leadership style affect employee motivation, engagement, productivity, and overall performance in an organizational context. Next, I will move on to the problem statement of this study. Employee performance is one of the main challenges faced by modern organizations today. Many organizations continue to experience low employee motivation, weak engagement, and inconsistent performance levels. This situation is often worsened by leadership failures such as lack of proper guidance, weak communication, and ineffective motivation from leaders. Second leadership style is transactional leadership. Transactional leadership focuses on reward, supervision, and task completions. While it may improve efficiency in routine tasks, it often fails to build long-term commitment, adaptability, and innovations. And the last leadership style is laissez-faire leadership. Laissez-faire leadership involves minimal supervision and limited involvement from leaders. This often results in poor employee performance, unclear roles, low job satisfaction, and weak accountability. One major crisis is leaders' failure to adapt their leadership style to the organizational context. Some leaders rely too heavily on a single leadership style without considering employee needs. In addition, lack of guidance, support, and effective communication contribute to declining performance. Passive leadership and misuse of authority further weaken employee motivation and trust. Next, impact on organization. Poor leadership lead to reduced employee motivation on overall performance. Organizational productivity and goal achievement are negatively affected. Employees may experience high stress, disengagement, and increased turnover. In the long run, this threatens organizational sustainability and competitiveness. This study helped identify which leadership style most effective to enhance employee performance. The finding can guide leaders in choosing appropriate leadership approach. It also supports organizations in improving employee motivation, engagement, and productivity. Effective leadership is essential for creating high performance organization. Understanding leadership style allow organization to improve both employee outcome and overall organizational success. Based on the issue discussed in the problem statement, this study aimed to examine the relationship between leadership style and employee performance. Specifically, the study focused on three leadership styles: laissez-faire, transactional, and transformational, to understand their impact on employee performance within an organizational context. For the first research question is, what is the impact of laissez-faire leadership on employee performance? Second, what is the impact of transactional leadership on employee performance? And lastly, what is the impact of transformational leadership on employee performance? For the research question, to examine the impact of laissez-faire leadership on employee performance. Next, to examine the impact of transactional leadership on employee performance. And lastly, to examine the impact of transformational leadership on employee performance.
Next is the scope of study. The scope of this study focuses on examining the relationship between leadership styles and employee performance among administrative staff at Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia UKM. This study is limited to non-academic employees who are involved in administrative and support functions, while academic staff such as lecturers and researchers are excluded to ensure that the findings reflect the experiences of administrative personnel. The research examines three leadership styles, that is transformational, transactional, and laissez-faire leadership, as independent variables, while employee performance is treated as the dependent variable. Employee performance is measured based on self-reported perception of work efficiency, task completion, quality of work, and overall job performance. Geographically, the study is confined to selected faculties, departments, and administrative units within UKM. Methodologically, a quantitative approach using structured questionnaires is employed, and the analysis focused on identifying relationship between variables rather than establishing causal effect. My name is Nurul AUA3012 binti Anwar and my metric number 1231436. Today I will present about the chapter 2, Literature Review. This chapter presents the theoretical foundation for the study entitled The Relationship Between Leadership Styles and Employee Performance Among Administrative Staff at Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia UKM. It outlines the higher education sector as the research context, defines key terms used in the study, and explains the relationship between the main variables. In addition, this chapter discusses the supporting theories, develops the research hypothesis, and presents the conceptual framework illustrating the expected relationship between leadership styles and employee performance among UKM administrative staff. First point is the industry of the research definition, that is higher education. In this study, the research industry is the higher education sector with a specific focus on Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia UKM as a public university. UKM operates within a formal organizational environment with clear leadership structures, reporting system and standard performance evaluation. Besides academic function, university relies heavily on administrative staff to ensure efficient daily operation and overall institutional effectiveness. In this context, leadership styles such as transformational, transactional, and laissez-faire influence how tasks are managed, how employees are motivated, and how performance outcomes are achieved. Previous studies indicate that transformational and transactional leadership style have a significant positive relationship with employee performance in higher education institutions, while laissez-faire leadership shows a weaker impact. Therefore, the higher education sector, particularly UKM, provides a suitable and relevant context for examining the relationship between leadership style and employee performance. The second point is definition of terms. First is leadership styles. Leadership styles refers to the approaches and behaviors used by leaders to guide, influence, and manage employees in achieving organizational goals. Common leadership styles include transformational, transactional, and laissez-faire, which differ in terms of supervision, employee engagement, and decision-making. Effective leadership can enhance employee motivation, satisfaction, and performance, while poor leadership may negatively affect productivity. In this study, leadership styles are examined as independent variables that influence the performance of administrative staff at UKM. Second is employee performance. Employee performance refers to how effectively and efficiently employees complete their tasks, maintain work quality, and contribute to organizational goals. Performance is influenced by factors such as leadership, motivation, and the work environment. This study focused on the performance of administrative staff at UKM, where employee performance is treated as the dependent variable affected by different leadership styles.
Assalamualaikum, my name is AUA3012 binti Abdul Hafiz and my metric number 1231423. So I will continue with the leadership style and their relationship with employee performance. Firstly, employee performance refers to how well employees carry out their tasks in terms of efficiency, productivity, effectiveness, and achievement of targets. Employee performance is very important because it determines the competitiveness and sustainability of an organization. Leadership style, on the other hand, refers to the approach used by leaders to influence employee behavior in order to achieve organizational goals. There are three main leadership styles discussed in this study: laissez-faire, transactional, and transformational leadership. Firstly, laissez-faire leadership involves minimal guidance and low leader involvement. Secondly, transactional leadership focuses on reward and corrective action based on performance. Meanwhile, transformational leadership emphasizes motivation, inspiration, and employee development. Secondly, the relationship between variables, which are leadership styles and employee performance, show that different styles affect employees differently. Firstly, laissez-faire leadership often has a negative impact on employee performance because employees may feel unclear about their roles and responsibility, which can reduce motivation and consistency. Secondly, transactional leadership generally has a positive effect on performance because employees understand what is expected from them, receive reward for a good performance, and are held accountable when targets are not achieved. Thirdly, Transformational leadership has a strongest positive relationship with employee performance as employees feel inspired, supported, and motivated to go beyond their personal interests to achieve organizational goals. Finally, there are several theories support this relationship. Firstly, laissez-faire leadership is explained by theories such as leader-member exchange, social exchange theory, and goal-setting theory, which suggests that lack of guidance and feedback reduce motivation and accountability. Secondly, transactional leadership is supported by transactional leadership theory, which emphasizes the exchange of reward and punishment to maintain performance standards. Thirdly, transformational leadership is supported by transformational leadership theory, which highlights the role of inspiration, motivation, and intellectual stimulation in improving employee commitment and performance. In conclusion, leadership styles play a significant role in shaping employee attitudes and performance. Active, supportive, and motivating leadership is essential to ensure optimal employee performance.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Aida Shikin binti Muhammad Goris and my metric number is 1231433. So here I will explain the hypothesis development for this study. This section focuses on the relationship between leadership style and employee performance. The first hypothesis is H1. There is a significant relationship between laissez-faire leadership and employee performance. Laissez-faire leaderships allow employees to work with minimal supervision. Some employees may perform well due to independence, while others may need more guidance. Therefore, this leadership style may influence employee performance differently. The second hypothesis is H2. There is a significant relationship between transactional leadership and employee performance. Transactional leadership emphasizes clear rules and performance-based reward. When expectations are clear, employees may feel motivated to complete tasks efficiently. This can lead to improved employee performance. The third hypothesis is H3. There is a significant relationship between transformational leadership and employee performance. Transformational leadership motivates and inspires employees. Employees who feel supported and valued may perform better and go beyond their normal duties. Thus, this relationship style is expected to positively influence performance. This slide shows the conceptual framework of the study. There are three independent variables, which are the leadership style, and one dependent variable, which is employee performance. The framework illustrates how leadership styles are expected to influence employee performance in the context of higher education, specifically at UKM, University Kebangsaan Malaysia. So, to conclude Chapter 2, this chapter discusses the relationship between leadership style and employee performance in the higher education sector at UKM, which is University Kebangsaan Malaysia. Three leadership styles were explained, supported by relevant theories. Based on this discussion, hypotheses were developed and a conceptual framework was presented. Overall, the chapter emphasized the importance of effective leadership in improving employee performance. So, that's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Siti Nazulaika binti Muhammad Azham. My metric number 1231471. In this chapter, I will explain the research methodology used in this study, which focuses on the relationship between leadership style and employee performance. First, this study adopts a quantitative research approach. This approach is suitable because it allows objective measurement of variables and supports statistical analysis to examine the relationship between leadership style and employee performance. Quantitative data were collected to enable empirical testing of the proposed relationship. Next, in terms of research design, this study employs a correlational design as it aims to examine the relationship between leadership style and employee performance without manipulating any variables. In addition, a cross-sectional design is used where data are collected at a single point in time to capture employees' current perception of leadership behavior and their job performance. Moving on to the population. The population of this study consists of all administrative staff at University Kebangsaan Malaysia, totaling 8,107 individuals. Administrative staff were selected because they operate within the university's organizational structure and are directly influenced by leadership practice at various administrative levels. Due to practical constraints such as time accessibility and resource, it was not feasible to include the entire population. Therefore, a sample was selected to represent the population. In terms of sampling technique, this study employs convenience sampling, which is a non-probability sampling method. Participants were selected based on their availability and willingness to participate. This technique allows efficient data collection while remaining suitable for examining employees' perception and workplace experience. In conclusion, the methodology adopted in study is appropriate and aligned with the research objectives, enabling a systematic and reliable investigation of the relationship between leadership style and employee performance. That's all from me. Thank you.